So I have to admit that I actually enjoyed tonight's episode of Raw. There was a lot of things here to actually sink your teeth into. For instance, there was the Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins stuff that they forwarded here tonight for the go home episode of Crown Jewel, because this was, like I said, the Crown Jewel go home episode. We had Roman Reigns kick off the show, make a match official with Bronson Reed in an Australian street fight. I don't know what the difference is between an Australian street fight and just a regular standard street fight. Maybe they'll have kangaroos here in this match, who fucking knows. But as far as that goes, let me actually cover that real quickly. So we had a segment here where Roman Reigns kicked off the show and he gets interrupted by Bronson Reed, and they make this match official between Roman and Bronson. This is just kind of me simplifying this entire segment. They mentioned that this is going to be an Australian street fight. I kind of figured that they were going to do Braun Breaker against Roman, but I suspect they may want to do that maybe at another potential date, maybe Saturday night's main event before Survivor Series, because I still believe that Roman is going to be a part of that Survivor Series team against the Vision, against Seth, and I guess the heel faction that is going to be in that War Games match. So as far as Bronson and Roman goes, like, realistically, I would not give Roman another win against Bronson Reed, considering the fact that he beat him Clash in Paris. So it's almost like, why would Bronson lose here against Roman? 2 straight matches. Why would he lose to Roman Reigns? Plus, it's Roman Reigns. He isn't going to suffer if he takes a loss. Like, he's fucking Roman Reigns. He's already built. He's already established. So why not give more aura to Bronson Reed here? As far as Roman goes, you know, there's segments now in the back, kind of with Jey Uso and with Jimmy Uso, I guess you could say re-establishing the bloodline, because, you know, obviously we've seen Roman influence Jey Uso, this more rugged, you know, confrontational, aggressive Jey Uso, and you see Jimmy Uso all the time here in the background, not really too fond of what's going on here, because he sees how his brother is slipping away and becoming just like Roman Reigns. And even there was a segment in the back where Roman told Jimmy, like, hey, Jay is becoming a lot more like me now, and he's becoming less of you. Essentially, without saying it, actually saying that, hey, you need to step your game up, because Roman and Jay were like this now. And I know a lot of people are just going to say, well, it's just a bloodline rehash. You know, it's something we've already seen. But the thing is, you know, there's no current story currently in WWE that I would say forces you to actually think about the storylines critically, right? Back in the Bloodline era, we had so many, like, hey, what does this mean? What if this happens? What does, you know, Jimmy Uso think about this? Like, there's so many scenarios here that play out in your head. And now that's kind of what I'm thinking as far as Roman and Jay and Jimmy, because we realistically don't know where this is going to end up. It could end up with a Jay Uso heel turn. It could end with a Roman heel turn once again, being accompanied by his cousins, the Usos. So like I said, it literally could go any direction, which is something that I actually appreciate, something unpredictable that we're getting here between the OG bloodline. And we also had CM Punk make his return following WrestlePalooza. It's been about 2 weeks or so ever since we've seen CM Punk, and he made it clear that he gave Cody his space because he doesn't want to get involved in Cody's business, that being Seth Rollins. But he mentioned the fact of, you know, following Crown Jewel, he's going to be the first in line to have a championship match against Seth Rollins. And then this brings out LA Knights. They have a really good back and forth here. This brings out Yeet Man. Coincidentally, no yeeting here. All 3 of them have a really good back and forth here. Eventually, Jimmy Uso comes out here, and Jey Uso takes out LA Knights. CM Punk calls Jey Uso Little Roman, and Jey Uso goes for the attack, but Punk ends up punching Jey Uso in the face, and Jimmy Uso gives him a super kick for his troubles. So like I said, very good stuff here between all 3 guys. It really gives you the feel of like, hey, everybody in this Raw division wants to be the champion. It's kind of the contrary when you look at SmackDown, because SmackDown literally has just Drew and Cody and maybe Randy, and that's about it as far as, I guess, top people, top stars vying for the championship. Here on this show on Raw, you have LA Knight, you have CM Punk, you have Jey Uso, you have Roman Reigns potentially, and Seth Rollins as the World Heavyweight Champion. So you have a lot of people here that are, I guess, lobbying to being the World Heavyweight Champion. We also had Becky Lynch here against Maxine Dupree, and I would say probably the best match that Maxine has had throughout her entire wrestling career. They were really playing up the fact of how Maxine is the underdog, how, you know, it would be some miracle if she got the win over Becky Lynch. She did get the win. However, it was just a count out, but you should see the crowd here. They went fucking ballistic for a count out victory. And one thing I thought we were going to set up here was the match between AJ Lee and Becky Lynch potentially at Crown Jewel. Now it looks like that isn't the direction that we're going in, that we're heading in, which kind of, you know, leads me to wonder what we're doing with the IC title, with the women's IC title. Are we actually going to give Maxine a chance, or is AJ gonna return in the future? Like, I am very lost as far as what they're gonna do with Becky, because she isn't gonna be at Crown Jewel. We also had AJ Styles here after his 6-man tag team match. He just got the microphone and simply stated that this match with John Cena really doesn't require any build up, and I could sense the music in Triple H's ears as AJ said that, because we know damn well that this was always going to be the direction. John Cena and AJ Styles, they just wanted to give off the impression that John Cena and AJ Styles was, you know, willed into existence by the fans. But like, how lucky must you be if you're Triple H to just be handed this match on a silver platter? Like, hey, it's just a match, you guys go out there and you guys kill it. Like, Triple H must be the luckiest man on planet Earth now. But one last thing I wanted to mention was the Seth Rollins, Cody Rhodes, I guess not even vignettes, but kind of like promos that they've been airing as far as their whole history together. They aired a promo here which was so amazing, so fantastic. It literally gave you the rundown of why Cody and Seth were teammates at one time, right? WrestleMania 40, why they teamed against Roman Reigns and against The Rock, and how Seth told everybody here during the promo here how Roman Reigns, he had to be stopped. He tried to leave Roman Reigns alone, but he had to be stopped because it was just a poison that engulfed the whole WWE, and he decided to help Cody out. And ever since Cody teamed with Roman at Bad Blood, he almost views Cody in just disgust and just anger. And afterwards, we see Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman in the backstage area, and Seth Rollins is just so focused on, number one, the watch that Cody gifted him at WrestleMania 40, the Rolex, but also he just simply states to Paul Heyman, I have to beat him. And then Paul Heyman says, of course you're gonna beat him. And then Seth says, what happens if I don't beat him? And then Paul says, if you don't beat him, you'll lose the trust of Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed, and the vision that you want for the WWE will be lost if you lose to Cody Rhodes. And Seth says, what about yourself? You left yourself out of this equation. What would happen to the wise man, to the Oracle, if I lost against Cody Rhodes? And simply stated, Paul Heyman said, if you lost to Cody Rhodes, I would really have to reconsider why I chose you over Roman Reigns. And literally, this was probably the best like 3-4 minutes of the entire show, because in that one sentence that Heyman gave out, how he has to now look at himself and say, why did he pick Seth over Roman? That's gonna light a fire under Seth's ass to actually do whatever it takes to win against Cody Rhodes, which I suspect he's going to. Nonetheless, you know, they could tease that, you know, maybe Heyman is going to turn on Seth. I wouldn't be against that, to be honest, because Seth and Heyman really, their chemistry really isn't all there as far as the Oracle. But I don't realistically see Heyman and Seth, you know, splitting ways this quickly. I could either see Drew McIntyre getting involved in this match and helping out Seth Rollins, or maybe a new Vision member by chance, or potentially Brock Lesnar being involved, because again, there is that lingering sort of story as well of, you know, who's really in charge of the Vision. You know, Cody pointed it out a few weeks ago, like, who really is in charge of the Vision? Is it Heyman or is it Seth? And Cody and Seth, like I said before, this, even though it's been 3 weeks, it's been the best 3 weeks for both of these champions combined, because Cody against Drew, like he really wasn't around, and Seth against Punk, it was kind of getting stagnant. So now this is just like a built-in natural story for both guys, and I am actually really looking forward to what happens at Crown Jewel. But post your comments down below, let me know what you thought of tonight's episode of Raw, and until next time, I will see all of you on the next one.